Jory Sea does not return from the grey slopes. It is a place of scattered boulders and petrified logs, a landscape too open for ambush, too barren for a raptor pack. This is the truth the clan clings to, and it is a lie. Lyra, the hunt leader, finds only his spear standing upright in the cracked earth like a forgotten grave marker. There is no blood. There are no tracks leading away, no signs of a struggle, no furrows in the dirt from a body being dragged. It is as if the sky opened and simply took him. The silence that follows is heavier than the footsteps of any Tyrannosaurus Rex. It is a thinking silence, a watching one. This is the third time. The clan knows this silence. It is the same that swallowed Fen a moon ago near the Whispering Reeds, and Oleg before him in the shadow of the Three-Fang Mountain. Each man the veteran hunter, each vanished from a place that should have been safe. Fear, once a sharpened, known thing, the flash of teeth, the roar that shakes the gastrolia, has become a stagnant mist that chokes the very air in their cliffside caves. The paranoia takes root first in the hunters. They move now in tight groups of 5, their backs to one another, their eyes constantly scanning not the horizon, but the middle distance. Every rock seems to shimmer at the edge of vision. Every gnarled tree trunk seems to shift when you look away. They are not merely navigating a prehistoric world, they are trying to read a page that is actively erasing itself. The children no longer play tag among the ferns at the cave mouth. They sit, small and still, watching the adults, their faces reflecting a terror they do not understand but feel in the marrow of their bones. The problem of survival has changed. Before, the challenge was to outwit the great beasts, to steal the eggs of a Triceratops, to drive an Allosaurus from its kill. Now the challenge is to trust what you see. The study of taphonomy is an unknown science to them, yet its absence haunts them. The earth should give back a sign of violence, a story told in bone and blood. But the ground holds its secrets. These men are not just dead, they are erased from the record of the world. In the great cave, the fire casts dancing shadows that look like monsters. Old Kale, the shaman whose face is a roadmap of droughts and long winters, sits staring into the flames. He speaks of a spirit, a ghost of the wind that takes the shape of the land. Lyra stands beside him, her jaw tight, her knuckles white around her own spear. She does not believe in ghosts. She believes in teeth, claws, and hunger. Spirits do not leave spears behind, she says, her voice low and hard, something that does not want to be seen. The clan is trapped. The stores of dried meat are dwindling. To hunt is to risk vanishing. To starve is to die slowly in the dark. The fundamental contract of their existence, that courage and skill can win sustenance from a hostile world filled with dinosaurs, is broken. Tonight, Lyra makes a decision. She gathers the remaining hunters. They will not go out to find food. They will go out to find a color, a shape, a flicker of movement in the empty air. They are going to hunt a ghost, and they know with the cold certainty of prey that the ghost is also hunting them. Kale's plan is born from fire and shadow, a piece of mad logic that feels more like magic than strategy. He calls it painting the ghost. For days, the clan works not with flint and bone, but with stone mortars and pestles. They grind rocks into fine powder, the deep red of ochre for blood, the stark white of chalk for bone, the black of charcoal for the void. They stitch these powders into small, fragile pouches of dried stomach lining. The air in the great cave becomes thick with colored dust that coats everything, a constant reminder of their desperate wager. This is their new form of primitive technology, born of terror. They are crafting paint, not for a cave wall, but for the skin of a demon. The hard choice hangs unspoken in the thick air. Who will be the brush? A young hunter named Terakay, whose brother Oleg was the second to vanish, steps forward. His eyes are hollow, but his voice is steady. It is not a choice made in bravery, but in grief. For him, this is not a hunt. It is an offering, a form of ritual sacrifice to reclaim a name from the silence. They return to the grey slopes, the place of Jory Sea's Erosua. The landscape feels different now, sentient and predatory. Every stone is an eye, every petrified log a coiled limb. This is the reality of their prehistoric life. Lyra positions for throwers, herself included, in a wide semicircle, concealed behind the largest of the boulders. They are the artists of the boulders. They are the artists. Tereke walks to the center of this killing ground, his spear held loosely at his side. He is the canvas. He stands alone, a single, defiant piece of life in a world of silent, watching death. The weight stretches into an eternity. The sun beats down. The only sound is the wind whistling over the stones, a sound that now seems to mock them. The survival of ancient humans often depended on seeing the threat. Theirs depends on making the threat seeable. The air to Tereke's left begins to shimmer. It is a subtle distortion, like heat haze on a hot day, but there is no heat. The outline of the distant three-fanged mountain ripples and bends. This is it. The ghost is moving. Lyra gives a silent hand signal. The throwers tense, their knuckles white on the hide pouches. The shimmer coalesces, resolving into a patch of space that is simply wrong. Its texture is the perfect gray, but it moves with a liquid predator's grace. Raising his spear, his face a mask of grim acceptance. From that patch of empty air, the horned head explodes into reality. It is a Carnotaurus, but a twisted, unnatural variant of the species. Its skin is a living tapestry of rock and shadow, the patterns shifting with impossible speed, the biological display of active chrome atop hawse. Before a sound can be made, its head snaps forward, its jaw unhinging. Tereke is gone. But in that instant, as the beast's head materializes to strike, the pouches fly. They burst against its hide in silent, vibrant puffs. Red, white, and black powder blooms across the creature's flank and head, clinging to its skin. The ghost is painted. It is horribly real, a 14-foot monster of mottled color, its uselessly small arms topped against a powerful chest, its bull-like head dominated by two sharp preorbital horns. It lets out a choked, guttural hiss, a sound of fury and surprise, and vanishes, a painted horror sprinting into the distance, its camouflage shattered. They stare at the space where Tereke stood, now marked only by a falling cloud of colored dust. They have won, they have seen their god, and the cost was a soul. The clan does not celebrate. There is no feast, no triumphant story told around the fire. There is only the ghost of Tereke's absence and the burned-in image of the painted monster. They have a name for it now, the shifting god. They have seen its terrible form, the brutal pre-orbital horns like a bull's, the jaw that unhinges from reality itself. But more importantly, they have learned its scripture. They have seen how the colored dust clung to it, shattering the illusion, forcing the god to become mere flesh and bone. This knowledge is their only weapon, and it is a shield, not a spear. In the days that follow, the clan's entire existence is regenerated around this single, stark fact. Their survival skills undergo a radical evolution. They are no longer hunters of the open plains, they are custodians of a boundary. Under Lyra's command and with Kale's guidance, they begin to build their wall. It is a wall of rock or wood. It is a wall of dust. Every member of the clan has a role in this new, perpetual ritual that defines their hominid history. The children and the elders spend their days grinding chalk and charcoal. Hunters venture out only to the edge of the nearby forest to gather sacks of the finest, yellowest pollen. Others work the clan's midden, the great pile of refuse, burning old bones to create heaps of fine, grey-white ash. Their world, once as wide as the horizon, shrinks to a circle 200 paces wide around the cave mouth. They mount this line with stones, and every morning, just after dawn, a procession moves along the perimeter, carefully laying down a fresh, unbroken line of powder. It is a sacred act, a declaration written on the skin of the ancient earth that this small patch of ground is theirs. They learn to read the dust as they once read tracks in the mud. A disruption means a passing herbivore. A scattering means a strong wind, but they are watching for something else. They rig trip wires from vine, low to the ground, connected to pouches of ochre hanging from precarious branches. These are their silent sentinels. For a full moon cycle, nothing happens. The fear, once a sharp spike of terror, settles into a dull, constant ache of vigilance. Life becomes a routine of maintenance and watching. Then one morning they see it. On the western edge of the circle, the line of ash is disturbed. It is not blown by wind, it is smudged, as if something heavy has hesitated there. And in the center of the smudge is a single bizarre print, the three-to-ed track of a great carnivore, but the print is shallow, incomplete. It is the footprint of a creature testing a surface. It does not understand, recoiling from the fine particles that threaten to reveal its true nature. A collective sigh of relief and terror passes through the clan. The wall works. They have carved a sanctuary out of paranoia, a bubble of visibility, in an invisible war. They are prisoners in their own home, but they are alive. The shifting god still rules the prehistoric world outside their circle, but inside this fragile ring of dust for now, they are their own masters. This fragile truce, born of dust and terror, becomes the bedrock of a new history for these human ancestors. They have faced an enemy beyond comprehension, a phantom woven from the very fabric of their world, and they have not conquered it. Instead, they have learned to define its power by drawing a line, asserting their own existence in a language of ashen pigment. This act, this circle in the dirt, is more than a dirt, is more than a defense. It is the first fortress, a concept built not of stone but of intellect. It marks a profound shift in the great narrative of human evolution. The moment our ancestors stopped merely hiding from the monsters of the prehistoric world and began to dictate the terms of their own survival. However small the territory, their struggle echoes across the great expanse of million years ago, a testament to the audacity of a species that, when faced with an invisible god, chose not to kneel in prayer, but to throw paint in its eyes. The circle of dust is the ancestor of every wall, every border, every sanctuary have ever built, a primal blueprint for carving a place for humanity in a universe that does not see us. Their courage was not the absence of fear, but the ritual that contained it. And in the deepest parts of the ocean, something even older was beginning to stir.